You're welcome back. You're still watching Business Incorporated on Channels Television. Well, on our commodities market updates now, we're talking about electric cars. Yes, electric cars in 2021. They've surpassed the previous year by 107%, reaching a record 2.1 million units from 1.8 million last year. The shift from diesel and petrol-powered cars are not only in the EV category, but also in the hybrid segment. This change in EVs is happening in spite of the COVID lockdown and the attendant economic recession. But we have Isaac Adekoye, now analyst at Financial Derivatives Company, to have this conversation and tell us what's going on with the EVs. Hello, Isaac. Good to have you again. Good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for having me.
So
yes,
it's obviously a new order, a new normal now. This is a threat to the old one. What will be the impact of this on investments and markets?
Yes, we have started to see in the electric vehicle market that a lot of the components that are being used are now manufactured in a much stronger and much sustainable manner. So there's a general acceptance of electric vehicles in that sense. The entire industry is starting to see that, okay, this is a sustainable thing that we can use moving into the future. Then you have countries like China who are now having government support for electric vehicles in that sense. So there's a lot of all these carbon credits and all these incentives that are now going into electric vehicles. And so because of all this, we're seeing a situation where these vehicles are becoming more affordable. Then you have historically all these stronger car manufacturing companies such as Ford and General Motors. Most of them are now announcing more electric vehicle lines. So there is a lot of more belief in that sense. In terms of the markets, we can now see that apart from technology, some of the best performing stocks so far up to date have been in that sector. So you have companies such as Tesla, such as NIO, such as even SolarWinds that have lines along the manufacturing of battery packs for electric vehicles. So that's probably what you're seeing. Investor sentiment, investors are probably looking and positioning themselves for the next phase of appreciation in that sense.
Now, you know, before now, in Nigeria now, I mean, because we have to look inwards. In Nigeria, we're talking about, you know, making cars in Nigeria. With this new development globally, what's the outlook? What do you see in the Nigerian scene?
Well, on the Nigerian scene, you can look at it and say that, okay, the rest of the world is pushing towards electric vehicles, but we have not yet gotten to that stage yet. So you cannot really expect to see much of that in that sense. But when you look at the fact that most countries who we export petrol and we export crude oil to are part of the push towards electric vehicles, then you can see that we may not be able to see electric vehicles on the roads in Nigeria, but we'll feel them in the foreign exchange sense. So for instance, our largest crude oil buyers are India, and India has also just accelerated plans to have electric vehicles on the road. So they've pushed that back to 2030. You have Netherlands and Spain as well. You even have America, who is a net exporter of crude, also saying that they want to even push down they're pushing it forward rather to 2030 to have more electric vehicles on the road. So you consider that 10% of Nigeria's GDP is from crude, while 90% of our foreign exchange earnings are from that. So if these countries are pushing towards a more electric car friendly economy, then you are going to see that we would feel that impact. We may not see these cars on the road, but in terms of Forex and the economy, we will feel this impact.
Okay, so in Nigeria, there are about 2,946 petrol stations, in contrast to 285,000 electric vehicle charging points in Europe. Do you see it becoming more expensive to maintain the petrol vehicle in the nearest future?
Again, you have to look at it sort of what is actually happening. So like I said, we're not ready for that electric car. We're not ready for that in Nigeria yet. But what you also find is across Africa, we're starting to see that more of these car manufacturers are positioning themselves in Africa to sort of cater to the African market. Yes, the rest of the world might be going green, but you need to understand that Africa is still a huge market. Nigeria is also a huge market. And so while these other companies might be positioning to serve Europe and the rest of them with electric vehicles, we're still going to see them manufacturing more of their vehicles in Africa. You can see in South Africa, we have BMW, we have Nissan, and also I think there's There's a plant being opened now in Ghana as well. And then you also look locally as well. You have the likes of Innocent, the likes of North, who might be able to actually meet the local demand if we get there. So while the rest of the world is probably moving that way, the realities of Africa means we are not actually ready for that yet. And there is still a market locally that we, so I mean, you also have to look at, we are currently constructing a refinery to meet the West African needs and the African needs or in terms of crude oil. So definitely Nigeria, we will probably see more of these manufacturers positioning in Africa to serve the needs of Africans.
Yeah, and yet we are endorsed in the Paris Climate Accord. But anyway, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us, Isaac, and I do enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.